Hello, everyone. Welcome to Remote Control. This week we're playing Damaged in Transit by Wyatt and Greg and Diego. Hey, everyone. I guess let's just start by doing quick introductions because whoops. Mark, of course, we forgot to do that last time we did one of these episodes, and someone called us out on it. So hi, I'm Matt. I'm the stream manager for Wonderville. Also help out a little bit with curation stuff there, as well as doing some work with MagFest.org and just sort of generally kind of over the last year started getting involved in the New York gaming scene, which is an awkward time to be getting involved in a scene like that, but whatever, I'm having fun. Also with me on the call is Mark, calling from the Wonderville sound booth.
Hey guys. Yeah, so today I'm upstairs at Wonderville. You can hear the train sometimes pass over my head. I'm really excited to talk about Damaged in Transit. It's a game that I have extreme difficulty with, and I love that about it. So yeah, can't wait.
No shame.
Let's just keep going right to left, so I guess Wyatt, you're up next.
Right. Hey, I'm Wyatt. I'm the lead design for Damage in Transit. I also worked on the programming, and the difficulty that Mark is experiencing in the game is probably my fault, my responsibility.
Yeah, before I forget, I'm just going to check. Okay, we're on 80%. I think we're going to leave it there until I start having trouble, and then maybe we'll slow it down a little bit more.
I think that's a good idea.
Next up is Diego.
Hi, I'm Diego. I did the visuals for the game, all the art and animation, and additional design with Wyatt.
I'm Greg, Cosmo D. I did the music and sound design, and if there's my goal and role was to offset the difficulty of playing with the ease at which you could enjoy the music and sound, to ease your difficult journey through this experience.
It is really chill, yeah. Just this sort of groovy menu music. We're gonna go ahead. You're gonna see how little I've unlocked on this machine, but that's okay. We'll get through it together. I'm gonna start at the very beginning so we can get the intro comic. Love this text. Absolutely love this text.
This is all Diego. I think he did all the script, the comic panels.
Yeah.
Did you write this whole storyline before?
Yeah. It was so we came up with the conceit at the beginning, and then I kind of had thought we needed some kind of narrative alongside, so it was always in the back of my mind. But really I wrote it the week before we put it in, and I would ask you not to interrogate it too deeply.
All right. So yeah, I guess to start for people watching, the controls here are arrow keys or WASD or D-pad if you're playing on Switch. Basically, when I hit an arrow, all of these red arrows match that direction, and it's sort of I guess it gave me a vague Lemmings vibe the first time I played it, but it's basically guide these two robots to safety, and that level, they're very safe the whole time. That's not going to be true ever again. So I guess I'd love to start with sort of the history of this game. I know, Wyatt, the first game of yours that I played was Red Hot Ricochet, which is very different in that it is a competitive multiplayer game, but also somewhat similar in that there's too much to keep track of at any given time.
Yeah, I think you can say those two do follow the same train, a lot of things happening at the same time.
I guess, what made you interested in making a puzzle game specifically?
I think the inspiration for this game is very much it's inspired by juggling. It's can I get the player to handle multiple things at the same time? How far can we go? How far can players really manage handling two things at the same time? So go ahead.
Well, did you then decide early on that there would only be two, or?
I think I definitely started with 2, but in my prototype, I actually tested with 3 and 4, and I found 3 overwhelming, just way too overwhelming. So I think
gotta be tough.
Yeah, so two was already taxing enough and really allowed me to explore kind of split attention. So I stuck with 2.
Yeah, I think if Wyatt says it's overwhelming, it's definitely very overwhelming having watched you play these levels.
Yeah. Two is plenty.
Yeah, this level is the first level where you start having to kind of notice two at the same time.
Yeah,
because
just
you get
actively.
together.
Yep, there we go. I couldn't quite get it working, but I thought about installing a little eye tracking thing so you could see my eyes shooting like from one corner of the screen to the other.
Oh, I would love to see that.
There are a few libraries for it. I didn't think to even try to set one up until earlier today, which is why it's not there, but I highly recommend doing it. I noticed like someone at GDQ had that set up for their live stream of like Subnautica or something, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I should get that in my OBS rig.
Okay. That seems like it'll be useful for playtesting this game. It's like, seeing where the player looks at what time.
Which actually, I remember the first time I saw this game was at MagFest. Was it 2020 or 2019? You were there showing off Red Hot Ricochet. I like sort of knew you from Killer Queen. Yeah, sorry. What year was that? Oh right.
So I showed this game in 2020. So it's this year, MagFest this year.
Yeah.
But when I was showing Red Hot Ricochet last year, while manning the booth, I was actually working on this game at the site. So I'm not sure when you.
Yeah, no, because I remember saying like, oh hey, that's Wyatt. I know Wyatt from Killer Queen. What's up, Wyatt? And like we talked about Red Hot Ricochet for a bit. At one point, I asked you like, what else do you have going on? And you just pulled out an early prototype of this game. I guess how long has this one been in progress then? Because that's at least 2 years.
So the very first prototype, I think I worked on it in maybe the summer of 2015, so it's quite a while ago. But I liked the prototype, I didn't really have time to work on it. I only really started working on it late 2018, maybe October, November, when I wrote Diego in.
That goes perfectly into my next question. Diego and Greg, when did y'all get involved?
Yeah, so I guess like October 2018, Wyatt came to me with the prototype, which was just like single color circles on black squares, and he asked me to play, and I was like pretty obsessed with it immediately, and from then on I was involved.
So I guess at that stage, Wyatt, you had sort of established the general, like, we're guiding these boxes through a series of increasingly horrifying death traps. I'm really curious, when was the jump to delivery robots? When was the jump to delivery robots and there's an operator? And then I guess delivery robots and there's an operator and everything involved is super cute.
So I think most of this, Diego is the one who's responsible. I think he really, I had some initial idea of a theme, but I think Diego really tweaked it and then got it down to what we have right now, which I think is much better fit. Maybe Diego, you can share a bit.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, it became cute once Wyatt approached me, because that's what I want to do always, especially personal work that I have some freedom with. But actually, originally we were thinking of like a dungeon crawler theme, just like sort of like a more standard game skin. And I went through all these cycles. I wrote a whole Medium article about it somewhere, but we started with like these two dungeon crawlers, and they were both kind of like lost and incompetent. And I was gonna start each level with like something on a banana peel, and so like that's why your control is so limited. But the more I thought about it, like the indirect control just made way more sense with drones. And then once we had drones, it was like, well, you're not controlling them though, so who are you? And I thought it'd be funny to like add this other character holding a controller.
I absolutely love just watching the operator. One more thing for me to have to pay attention to, but just like the little animation.
He's definitely my favorite.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of that.
Sharing his despair every time something horrible happens, like.
Yeah, and those were some of the last animations we added, actually, like him flipping out and him giving the thumbs up were the last two character animations, I think, that went in the game.
Yep.
And those added so much. But yeah, the like stretch button press was, I think, one of the main things Greg had to work against.
It's true.
Yeah, so Greg, when did you start getting involved?
Not long after, like late 2018, I think I sent some demos, or Wyatt had been talking to me about it, and I knew Wyatt through Game Center Incubator. We were both in it in 2016.
That's right.
And so that's when we first met, and we'd been kind of seeing each other in time since. We'd always go to like playtest Thursdays and stuff, so he'd be working with Red Hot Ricochet, and I'd be showing what I was working on. And eventually, he wanted to do something that he could bring in my music, and I was like, yeah, sure. So he showed me a prototype of this. I'd seen it, and I think it was late 2018. And then I think I wrote most of the music for this in 2019, like spring, and then revised and tweaked and sound design along the way. So it was like in the last year and a half I was pretty active on it. But I wasn't doing, with the music you sort of have the music was less involved than the sound. I think the sounds, all the various things that you pick up, and the
Yeah.
there's so many sounds in the game that I just wanted to.
Yeah.
There was more back and forth on that. So the splashing and the
Sorry, I
sound
dug
of
myself into a bit of a hole there.
the wheels going over the bridge,
bridges,
like,
yeah.
all of these details. So that was like part of it, definitely. So that was ongoing.
I love the slightly different pitch for each robot hitting a button.
Yes. Yeah, that was.
It's also like it's an extremely useful tool because like I've been noticing I think particularly playing this a little bit slowed down, there's a huge amount of like leniency with some of the button presses that's quite nice in terms of just like how late to the robot hitting the thing you can get your new input in.
Yeah,
Like
there's
that move
definitely
right there.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of I guess coyote time is the term, right? We play tested this game like crazy, and like that was always the complaint we got. Like I hit the button, and that was like when we could see people getting the most frustrated. And we know they didn't hit the button in time, but if you, the more generous you are, the more it feels like it. And also like the button is a tile big, right? So we can sort of like maybe make a little bit of leniency given that it's like this large thing you pass over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this feels good. This feels strong. There we go.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Diego, I love the amount of personality you managed to get into every different type of spike trap.
Yeah, originally they all used the same. They might still all use the same spike, actually. That I made Wyatt like reposition in all these specific ways on top. But yeah, this is like my favorite little like bit of personality in the obstacles. Is we actually had like I have a whole different. I have a third state for these obstacles. There's like an you're on me and I'm stressed out state that the little face shows on the digital display on these trip traps. But it's so fast and the robot's on top of it, so you never see it.
Hold on.
I think we cut it. But
Okay.
I've got the frame somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I see the slight squiggle in there, but I assume that's just transitioning into angry face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the extreme exaggeration as the spikes hit their sort of peak.
Oh yeah, there's a big smear frame in there. They just like go from down to like bigger than they'll ever be to smaller.
So, Greg, as you were saying before, you have made this a very calming experience. Thanks to the heavy use of string instruments and whatnot.
think for me, the challenge, I knew that this game was going to be for a lot of people frustrating, or, initially frustrating. And I wanted to make a soundtrack that was like kind of jaunty and didn't take itself too seriously. So it's like, all right, these are tough puzzles. They're making you basically juggle. But the actual act of doing it shouldn't be like stress-inducing. The music could have been a lot more intense. But also, if you're failing a lot, you're hearing the same track. Like every world has its own track. And I could have made the tracks longer, but I think they were long enough. But they also needed to loop, so there needed to be this sense that it could be like a 3 or 4 minute song that you could listen to over and over again, and it could just kind of be in the background and just provide you with that, like, hey, it's all right, like you're just doing this, like no big deal, it's just some robots.
Just some robots having fun.
Trying to get by on this platform of destruction and uncertainty.
I don't think this was the way I wanted to do this, but it's gonna get me there, so we're running with it.
Is there a Damage in Transit soundtrack that we could listen to
Oh my god.
I think there is one on SoundCloud and on.
That's right.
Yeah, it's on SoundCloud.
Nice. Because I mean, I would love to listen to this while like chilling out and not dying over and over again. Even though it works extremely well for that too.
It does work extremely well for that, yeah. I want to do it in one. We're still in World 1. I feel like I can try to actually, keep my high score still.
Yeah, Mark, I can send you the SoundCloud. After the stream. Yeah, I like the music quite a bit. It's like usually when I'm developing a game, it's like you hear the music all the time, right? And you're so sick of the music. But I really like Greg's soundtracks for the game. I'm still not sick of it, so that's kudos to great work there.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you were so firm on the more calming aspect, because I feel like originally my inclination was to have it be all intense, driving, everything is going wrong, super hectic music, and I think I'm also glad that I wanted that, because I think we hit a good sort of mid ground.
It was a mid ground, because it's not down tempo. It's not relaxing. Like this world, the theme feels very nautical and relaxed. Like, oh, you're at sea. Oh, you're by the calming docks. Doing some shipping business, but I feel like this.
Right.
But it's like it's faster than mid tempo. It's not super fast. It does get faster. The later worlds do get faster, and things do kind of kick up. And the bosses actually, when you get to the boss, the tempo just kicks way up, and then I kind of ramp it up a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't just stay in one gear. It definitely starts in a gear, and it kind of goes on a journey. All the different worlds have kind of slightly different instrumentation. I did kind of get into each world has the through line is 8-bit sounds. I use 8-bit sounds kind of sparingly, but they're consistent in all 5 different zones. And then the other instruments are guitar and cello, and I think some horns. I like the palette changes a lot, and there's timpani rolls, and it's almost orchestral or orchestral jazzy. But the through line is always a little bit of 8-bit flourishes and kind of grooving cello, pizzicato, plucking. So that's kind of where my wheelhouse starts. So I wanted to have that signature in there.
I love that it's like the robots interpreting the world or something. The idea of the chippiness coming in.
Yeah, that's the chiptune vibe is a little bit there in the robots and in the sort of pixel art aesthetic. But then, there's everything else that I tried to weave in that gives it a more organic vibe too.
I want to talk about the sheer amount of levels, right? So you guys have 125 levels, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So okay, I really appreciate an extremely difficult game, and I felt like it took me so long to get past World 1 that, like, I got to World 2 and I was like, all right, that's it. My stress levels can't make it. Are there people out there that are, like, expert damage and transit players that have, like, speedrun all the levels or are really good?
I'm not familiar if anyone has sped run the game, but I know there are people who have finished. Yeah, I think some reviewers, you can tell based on what they're talking about or the kind of footage they're showing, they've finished the game. And I think achievements, some people have definitely finished the game.
Or is it like people you can count on one hand?
I've not looked at the numbers lately, but it's probably not too many.
I'm loading up the Steam achievements in the background to check this.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. Oops, wait. Right? Did I do that? Yes. Okay. Now I remember this. Now I remember this. Now I got this. All right. Yeah, I know you mentioned that you did a ton of playtesting for this game, and I think Wyatt, at one point I had a beta build of this.
Yep. I think so. Yeah.
I would love to know, like, what are some of the things what are some of the sort of pivots you had to make in response to the people's feedback from this? I'm sure there was a lot of, like, juggling content around and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I think the world that we tested the most was probably the first world. Because I think it's quite hard to playtest the subsequent worlds, because if someone is not skilled at with the mechanics or skilled with split attention, you don't get any good information from playtesters. So typically we get if it's a new player, we'll just start them from the beginning of first world. Only sometimes when we see it's like, oh, this person has played before, maybe we jump the person to maybe the second world. And I think the first world we have tweaked the difficulty quite a bit. Just seeing and arranging the levels, so we kind of teach the mechanics better. We want to see whether if there's too big a difficulty spike, and we kind of tweak it to want to make sure that maybe 65 to 80% of people can finish the first world if they really give it a try. Mm-hmm. Whereas the second world onwards, we're saying it's like, if we're not going to guarantee that kind of percentage. It's just that if you're interested and you're skilled, you'll be able to go through levels.
Okay.
Yeah,
Man,
I see what to do.
Crazy.
Oh shit.
Wow. That's a level. Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
But it looks confusing, but it's not too bad, right?
Yeah, and there have been a few of those now, where it's just sort of like, I look at it, I'm like, I'll bet this isn't as terrifying as it appears. Almost got me with that last one.
Amazing. That's amazing. Oh yeah, and you needed to do it just so. Oh, wow.
I think so. Some of the other stuff that we tweaked with playtesting, I guess it was mostly level reordering, but we also almost all the instructional text that the foreman speaks came out of playtesting.
Yep.
And granted, how much it actually helps, I don't know, because a lot of what it resulted in was at the next playtest, if somebody was really stuck, I would be like, you should try reading the text, and then they would solve it. But yeah, mostly difficulty adjustments.
I feel like I'm really setting myself up for failure here, but we're gonna. Nope. There it is. Okay, there's gotta be a better way.
It's such a seeming, the shape of it is what gets me, because it's like this very simple shape. It's not a very complex shape, and yet the way that you've positioned all of the obstacles and the key and the lock, it just creates this really cool, wild pretzel of a challenge. I think that's one of the things I really admire about this game, is that you do a lot with a very lean amount of ingredients.
Oh, thank you.
You have, the arrows, the robots, the keys. I know that the challenges continue to ramp up and stack in terms of what the game asks of you, but
it's extremely minimalist. Yeah.
It's a minimalist idea.
Right. Speaking of game mechanics stacking up.
Yeah, here we go.
And also speaking of that slightly faster music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we have a boss version for each of the world's music.
I love the boss versions. Best.
Yeah, this
For
is
example,
where
go ahead.
This this is where you did say definitely kick it up. So I was like, all right, let's do this.
If, for example, say there's a text that says spinning flame protocol, and that's one of the things we keep playtesting the text. Because we kind of, some players do not understand how the flame is reacting to how your button presses are. And we keep changing it, and we keep trying to see how we can get players understand that.
I think I got lucky on my first playthrough because I do not remember there being that torch disintegration animation. That's excellent.
Yeah, that was another late ad that I'm glad we put in.
The late ad for me was the arrival of the boss, like when it slams down onto the, or it like, it doesn't slam down, it like opens, like the box opens, and it's...
Surprise!
Yeah, it's like, and then the boss like dying or getting shut down, like those were all like late additions. But I feel like at that point we knew the game really well. We kind of knew.
I notice everyone referred to it as the boss there. Does this thing have a name?
I think it's just the boss.
It's a very modest. Yeah, it's like a boss that comes in a small package, a fearsomely large presence in an unassuming, taking up unassuming real estate on the board, but it's actually pretty fierce.
Wait, Diego, you might, it's post or something, right?
It does not have a name. It does say post on it. It was originally designed based off of a PO box, like a blue US post office box. So I feel like PO Boss maybe is a good name.
Yo Boss is a good name.
Oh, PO Boss is pretty good.
P.O. Boss.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
No joke.
Yeah,
And you get PO'd while fighting it.
There's like so many different obstacles. Did this obstacle start as a boss, or was it like you created something that was just more difficult and you decided to make it a boss?
I think this was intended to be the boss.
Okay.
Yeah. It was I think it was specifically intended to behave in that way.
Do you know how many different types of obstacles there are in the entire game?
Oh.
Because they keep getting more and more complicated.
Off the top of my head, I think the first world we introduced the most, but each other world we introduced maybe 4 or 5 different mechanics.
Yeah, I want to say it's like 25 or 26, but I can't remember.
I was gonna shoot from the hip guess 30, but it's probably not quite 30.
Because I think to your comment earlier about how it's minimalist, but I think Diego has kind of explained it quite well about how I think we put a lot of weight to your button presses. It's like all the different components. It's like it's reacting to what you press. So it's not just the arrows that you're controlling. So sometimes every time you press an arrow, a spike might be toggled up or down. Or like the boss stage earlier, you see like every time you hit a button, the flamethrower spins around. So because we give a lot of weight to the button presses, you kind of have to consider how your actions impact the things on the screen, and that's where split attention also really comes into play.
I do love the no-go buttons. It's very
Yeah, go,
good.
no, go. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm funny and I like it when it works out that way.
Interesting detail. You have a ladder going into the oil pit or into the oil field, as if people might fall off and they need to get out.
Environmental storytelling at its finest.
Yeah, there's a very subtle touch there. There's like, okay, let's go take a dip in the oil.
I think I was
oil
thinking
well.
I think I was thinking people would need to access it by raft like the 4 minutes, but I like the idea that it's there for swimming.
Because this
We
place
should have
obviously
put a
has
diving
no
board on.
safety.
Yeah, diving board.
There's obviously no safety here. There's no railings to keep you, on the platform.
Drones are expendable, as we now know in this universe you've made.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Make a plan for a second here.
I will say, the amount of levels you beat and the amount of time we've been here is extremely impressive. You're
Fantastic.
Very
We're rapidly approaching the puzzles that I haven't played and beaten in the last week.
I see.
So that's going to be when things sort of start to really fall apart. Also, 80% speed. Thank you, 80% speed.
That helps. Have you played co-op at all, Mark? Matt,
I played-
Mark, I played with you co-op, right?
Yeah, we played co-op, and that was super interesting. Because, I don't know, you still have to pay attention to both drones, but only, one direction, or two directions, right? Left or right versus up or down.
That's right.
Wild.
Yeah,
It's really funny, like, seeing reviews of this game. You can tell who's actually tried co-op because they'll be like, or if you need a little help and you can't handle it on your own, you can try it with a friend. And it's just like, nope. That's like definitely an added vector of complexity that's gonna ruin your day.
I think it makes it harder, actually.
Much
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can try it with a friend you want to have a falling out with.
Yeah, we joked about making a trailer that was like a couple fighting over the game, and then they beat a level and immediately kiss.
I like it.
I mean, there have been some like moments at festivals where we show the game and then couples play co-op. They get super happy when they win together. Especially when they've been dying like constantly on a level.
Yeah, that was the best part of playtesting, is seeing like the enthusiastic high fives and hugs that happen.
Yeah, the satisfaction quotient for this game when people beat it is real, and when it's being shown publicly, or when it was shown publicly, during the time when public events could still exist in that way,
R.I.P.
and people could say, yes, we did it, and yeah, the joy was very real and very infectious. Couples and non-couples alike would raise their arms in triumph.
Yeah.
Having been able to best this, a level of certainly of this caliber. Question for actually Wyatt and Diego. When you were at some of the festivals, were people playing it like on faster difficulty for like sport to sort of say, hey, look, I can do this?
No.
Do we not get to that level? Like,
I think occasionally I had people turn it up and play a level and turn
Oh,
it
really?
back down.
Okay. Oh yes. Okay. Now that you mention it, I do remember it. But usually I have it 100%. And
Okay, hold on.
if someone is struggling, and then I maybe suggest, it's like, hey, I could maybe tweak it a bit slower, and they refuse. They'll be like, no, I'm gonna play at 100% difficulty.
this level.
I just want to see what this is like, because I haven't actually tried.
Oh
So
my goodness.
if I look ahead, it's just the one at the very top, so I just should be hitting left every time. Oh, okay, yeah, all right, sure.
Oh!
Down.
Nice. You're home today, you got it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fast.
There is another way to beat this level. I don't know if we should tell you about it.
No, hold
Oh
on.
yeah, it's
No,
for if
I'll
you're
find it.
like speed running or you want to get a better score, you can go down.
Yeah, you never need to cross that bridge.
Oh, you can go down because one of them is protected the whole time.
It's quite tough at 140.
Very hard.
Almost.
But you get an idea, right?
Yeah. No, I'm doing this. I'm doing this shit.
Very slick.
Oh, nice.
Very close.
This would be a lot easier if I wasn't on 140% speed.
That's true, but I think
Oh.
Okay, I think I got the rhythm of it.
I think the most skilled person I've seen play this game, I think, was in MagFest this year, and so the person was just playing a few levels, and she got through quite very well. It's like she went through like 8 or 9 levels. She didn't play that much, 8 or 9 levels, but she just performed really well. She just like went through it like really quickly, like hardly died, and she, after she finished playing, she told me, it's like, oh, this game is just like juggling, because she's like, I think she teaches people to juggle. She's like some professional juggler. And I was like, yeah, oh, perfect. That's exactly what the game is kind of about. And I was like, yeah, perfect.
Congrats, you nailed it. All right, here we go. Uncharted territory.
Oh, this one's hard. This is a hard level.
Oh, great. Okay, so back. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So One of the most memorable things from development for me was the day Wyatt and I play tested our final builds on every platform, or I guess just PC and Switch, because we couldn't do every platform in a day. But I was playing this game for 7 hours straight, and I remember being stuck on this level for a long time.
So I'm guessing that once the... Oh, right. I'm guessing once the pillar is up, since the robot can't actually move out of that square, they're just going to sort of grab that key and run with it? Yes, okay. And it looks like I have a few frames to toggle them down. Yeah, okay. I got some ideas.
Yeah. But the spikes make it such that you have to double toggle when you change direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I need to get oh, do the bots have names? Foxy and Bali or something like that?
Yeah.
I love it.
Actually,
The one in
you got it right
yellow?
on the first guess. That's crazy.
Is that the names?
No, yeah, the yellow one is ship and the orange one is handle.
Handle.
Ship and handle. Yeah, I would sort of guess that the orange bot was a little more in control of their life, just based off the expressions.
I don't know, both of them look like they're in panic all the time. It's like when you look at their faces, they're in panic mode.
Oh yeah. Oh, right. Okay, so what if I had handle... Not like that. What if... Yep. It's like you build these elaborate plans for one of them, and then have to sort of grapple with the reality of the other.
Oh, close.
That was
very
getting
close.
very close. Okay. And I will need to go back and collect the shield. Okay. Yeah, the key is not having handle stuck in that little box.
Yep.
Close.
I love watching you inch closer.
Gotta stop forgetting about the other one. Ship is safe. But it's fun. Handle is safe for a bit.
Nice.
So when you were, question for either of you, when you were making the newer levels, did you start with like templates of older levels, or did you always sort of have a tabula rasa approach with your levels? Like, was there a level where you're like, I'm gonna do this, but then I'm gonna do a little twist on it?
I think only a few of the levels I kind of use a template from previous one. If let's say I can get one of the earlier levels, and I can do a small tweak to it with new mechanics to have a very different experience or difficulty with new mechanic in the later level, I do it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. For example, I did the first world, or one of them where you're going like it's like cyclone. You just keep going towards the center. Yep, I think for the level in the 5th world, I changed the arrows into different kind of arrows, and you get a different kind of experience. So I do that, but most of the time I don't. I just have because core idea is split attention, so I just design different mechanics like components that will kind of like sell this core idea. So for example, there are spikes here. Each time you press, it goes up and down, so you kind of have to know who's safe, who's not safe. Oh,
so close.
That was sad.
Oh no.
Oh, I see it all so clearly now.
I do also I think so far I've noticed you fall for like every one of Wyatt's very intentional traps.
There are so many.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One is from Twitch. They want to know if it supports ultra-wide monitors.
It does not support ultra-wide.
Cool. My question is, this is a puzzle game, and I'm curious to know if you were inspired by other puzzle games, because it's like a genre that's been around forever, and I'm curious if like you had favorites that you pulled from.
Ooh. I'm sure I do like puzzle games quite a bit, but nothing comes to mind for inspiration. Did we talk about anything, Diego?
Not that I remember. I mean, I know people always compare it to Choo Choo Rocket because I think like at first glance it appears. I don't think it actually is very similar, but like the fact that there are arrows on the ground and you're indirectly controlling anything, I think is somewhat similar. But I don't think we really talked about any that were direct inspiration. I guess the other thing visually that I thought about with this sometimes was Misadventures of Tron Bond has some like that's from the Mega Man Legends series, and it has some like, port-themed puzzle like box organization game. I kind of forget what it is actually. But.
Yeah. Wow, that takes me back.
Yeah, I played that game for the first time like 2 years ago or something, so
Does
it was a little fresher in my memory.
Research. Or not. Pure enjoyment.
Oh yeah, definitely enjoyment. I love the Legends series. Like, it's one of my favorite visual styles for a game. Low poly with like really simple pixel art textures that are like frame by frame animated is the best.
I will not respect the Marvel vs. Capcom series until they put Servbots back in there. They did it once, they could do it again. Like, they have no excuse. Come on, I had it.
Matt, are we past the levels that you've played before?
Yeah, this is the level that I got stuck on when I was playing last week.
I feel like one thing we should have learned by now is to give debug controls to streamers.
Oh yeah, I should give you a cheat build. like a festival build where you can just jump between levels.
Oh, where I could just... Is there a code? Do I need to mute the stream?
No, not on this build, but I can always send you a build where you can jump. We should do that in future, right? That makes sense.
I do like that we've had 2 episodes of this and we've played extremely hard games both weeks.
Yeah, why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
Well,
You're doing it to yourself.
We played Kickbot last week, which was like a puzzle platformer that was very difficult as well.
I panicked.
I also find one of the challenges with this game is like if you play on too low of a speed or if you play for too long, you get into this weird like anti-flow where you're overthinking everything or not, like you're just like, yeah, it'll work itself out, and then you're 1 frame past the arrow. You're just like, oh, I was supposed to press a button, right? I forgot that's what I'm doing.
I mean, especially because, like, you really don't get a break in a lot of these levels, you know? Alright, if I can get that far, I'm good. I know I've gone that far and fucked up in the past, but if I can get that far again, I'm good.
So how are you guys doing with like the quarantine and everything? Are you promoting this in different ways than you normally would? Have you found out you're streaming a lot more things?
We've done a number of streams, but no, I mean not aggressively. Our main sort of plan has been to show it when we can show it.
Yep. I think during the quarantine, the only place I've done is Play NYC. So they had the digital version of Play NYC, and I had it there. But other than that, no. I think I market it by just going to festivals and showing the game.
How are the road? How are the digital festivals? I missed Play NYC.
Oh yeah, so usually for Play NYC, you submit the game. If you're okay, you kind of create, give them the content, they'll create the pages for you. And I think for the days of the festival, they have like an online, it's like a stream, so they have panels that talk about it, or they could have like a showcase of games. And you can just watch it.
Nice.
And people tune in.
Yeah, it's been really interesting seeing the different ways festivals are sort of adapting. Like, Greg, you were showing something at Amaze this year, right?
Yeah, I showed the game I released this year at Amaze, and they had the whole sort of 3D. They
Nuts.
created. Yeah, it was a wild time, and it was very, very much the, just go for it spirit of Amaze that they always had, but then translated into this digital space with a ton of contributors and different people. And like the art from my game was actually used as part of the space. And there were a few different games where the art was.
Yeah.
Basically, this developer Masha Linka made this space with a tight crew of his team, and they were like, "Hey, can I have some buildings from your game? Can I have some art?" I'm like, "All right," and there was in the space. That was cool. It was fun to do it, and it was fun to see it. I don't know of other festivals that were like.
I haven't seen anyone else do anything that insane, but I agree that is in the spirit of Amaze.
Yeah, it was very much. Have you been out there?
I went to Amaze last year for the first time and loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
What a delightfully eccentric group.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's
I'm sure it'll return in some form when things. I mean, they're gonna keep that space going for future curated events. So they're gonna keep the space. I guess you could download that space on itch, and they're gonna have new games to show, and it was cool. I loved how they really committed to the immersion of it. I don't know, what was supposed to play at NYC? Did they have like a 3D or this explorable spatial element to it, or was it mainly, streams and
Streams.
Yeah.
I know Gamescom had a thing where it was like sort of isometric top-down, but I didn't really dig into it that much. I would have liked to, because I am interested in digital spaces right now and trying to get people involved in them. So Amaze lit a fire under me. So oh man.
Greg, you should come to our Minecraft server.
Oh, Wonderville
Minecraft server.
It's the Wonderverse. We've had a few
that sounds
concerts
fun.
there.
Cool. Ooh, Minecraft. I better upgrade my Minecraft installation.
It's funny, we've been involved with MagFest, and they're going virtual this year, and
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Amaze is the gold standard of what a festival could do in the digital space.
Totally.
So we keep thinking about how to up the game of a digital festival.
Yeah, I think that MagFest is in a really good position to pull something off like that, because I don't know of another festival on the eastern seaboard, or at least in the general region, that is that fest has a intimacy, but it's also packed. It draws a ton of people, but it still feels intimate. It still feels really doesn't feel like a big PAX behemoth. It's somewhere between a PAX and the intimacy of an Amaze, and I kind of like the balance it strikes. So yeah, I hope that with that you can do some cool stuff.
Here we got 40 minutes left? I can get through this.
What is gonna be the plan for Mag? Are they generally still gonna try to? Is their center of gravity still in the DC area, or is it all just decentralized now that we're remote?
It's all pretty up in the air. I'm working with MagFest this year as part of the Indie Arcade, which means I need to figure out what do you do with all control games?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's we can't. I was gonna say something that I've really enjoyed about festivals so far is that it seems to be really normalizing short demos on Steam, which is something that I feel we never got before, but that's ideal for that sort of scenario, because you want people to be able to play your game for a bit. Officially, there's not going to be a huge thing in Maryland this year for the obvious reasons, and the org is still sort of working on what are the other options and what could we do? Which is all to say, stay tuned.
But you do think that the sort of early January timeframe is still one to reach for, or do you think you've got the logistics to get there, or are you kind of taking it as, when it's ready, it'll happen?
I think it's sort of when it's ready, it'll happen. There's been a lot of really active conversation just over the last couple of weeks as like the official announcement of Super Mag not happening was like a week ago, I think. And people are figuring out like what else can we do? What else can we do? What else would work?
I mean, they had that telethon that was phenomenal.
Yeah, they had a great fundraising stream last weekend.
Oh, great.
I kind of trust them that anything they're going to do is going to be weird and fun, and it should be a good time regardless of what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it was the I can only describe the telethon as having like almost like Adult Swim energy.
There was a guy playing like xylophone, and you could request any song if you donated a certain amount of money. And people were like requesting Giant Steps by Coltrane, and he would like do it. It was really insane.
There used to be this group on the subway platform. This was, I don't know how long ago this was, but you'd see them a lot in like the Village and in like the Lower East Side, but they kind of played around, and one had a giant gorilla costume and another had a Cookie Monster costume. Like they were like mascot costumes that they'd gotten, and they were playing like xylophone and bass on the subway platform, and they were great. They were like seriously great. Like they probably, they were between gigs and between tours, and this was just their way of like doing some wacky thing in public for fun. But there was a lot of, people would like take videos of them, and the xylophone player, his chops were absurd. I mean, it was hilarious. So I don't know.
That's so pure. That's so brutally New York.
It was epic New Yorkness in distilled form, because the playing was phenomenal, but the concept was absurd.
And now I slowed it down more in my timing for like when to press the button vis-a-vis.
This is a tough one. This is
a tough one. It is a tough one, but I know I can do it. I'm just at the point where like I'm making the same mistakes. So that's on me.
Yeah. I know you're dying a lot, but to be able to listen and talk and play at the same time, it's very impressive.
Having you back here.
Alright,
You go
nice.
down. And we're gonna have you cross paths. So goodbye. Oh, I see. That happened to me once before. Okay.
That's right.
So I just got to have the other one go around the loop. That's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
I feel very sad that we didn't put a diving board on the side of this level now.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, we can update it.
So I'm assuming you can't just patch it in. I've heard patching this game is no easy feat.
I don't think you can easily add assets that don't exist that way.
Alright, you got it. Oh,
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a multi-step process. Bravo. Amazing.
60% new mast. Alright,
85 deaths, not too bad.
85 deaths. That's fine. That's fine.
Double digit is fine. Double digit is perfectly acceptable.
Alright, we're gonna bring this back up to 80 because that's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Matt, you got a lot of love in the chat for beating that one.
Thank you, Soul House. Thank
People
you, Knights of
appreciate the hard work that goes into
Persistence.
damaging.
Okay, we're just gonna go and see what happens. So it looks like I've got a nice little party here. They're definitely not going to stay together forever.
Yep. It was good. It was good to see a perspective of like when you play the level. You've not played the level yet. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh. So far. Okay. So that's the easy key.
I've actually never seen someone bring one key back first. Usually
I
grab
listen.
2 keys and go back. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just
Bravo.
sometimes it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. Nice.
Why do I do this to myself?
Oh.
Do I have to do that? Yes, because if I'm together, then I'm never going to be able to get to that third key. But I could separate. I could just get the first 2 keys and then separate, or I could try to separate it.
Nice.
Yeah. We're gonna start with this one. We're gonna start with this one because it's the one that scares me most. So, oh well.
Can't go that way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh well. Okay, I've undone all I did.
Yeah, no, this guy's good. Oh.
I'm just sorry. I'm just planning for a second here. Let's just get the top. No. Can I get the top key? I can't get the top key. I just have to zigzag a lot. Oh, right. That's going to be a problem. That's surmountable.
I feel like we should offer to like replace the Foreman sprite with a portrait of whoever the first speedrunner to get some time of our own choosing.
Yeah. You patch that in with the diving board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for excuses to add the diving board.
At 2 for 1.
And I like doing that. When AP and I released Swap Sword, we had a secret. You'd earn trophies that were swords. So like your first run, you'd get the cardboard sword, and then you get the bronze sword and the silver sword, etc. And then the secret sword was the demon sword that you can only have by being in first place on the leaderboards.
Amazing.
Only one person in the world can ever have it.
Nice.
That didn't accomplish anything.
Oh no, that was good. That was good.
Okay, no,
You
yeah,
can just
yes,
get
this
the
is good
gang,
because
yeah.
now I have access
This is
to
good.
all the keys. Right.
Yeah, and you're together, which is good.
Yeah. Probably could have done that a little smoother, but that's okay. Go, just fucking go. Just go live.
Yeah. You got
Okay. This is fine though. Probably.
this. Nice.
Group
That's
up,
smart.
you two.
That's smart.
Group up.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Nice. Excellent.
Nicely done.
Clean.
That's a fun one to
Bottleneck.
watch.
3 deaths. What a change.
Ugh.
Okay.
I like how dirty this oil rig is. It's like there's a rusting and there's a lot of oil
Yeah,
stains
yeah.
everywhere.
Things are getting a little more decrepit at this oil rig.
We don't have one.
I like how Oh yeah, we do not. But I like how all the bubbling happens.
Oh wait, I didn't have to do that. He was fine. He had a shield.
Oh yeah, we went wild on the bubble do that.
Yeah, I think on this one. Which is your favorite tile map? Which world do you like best? Diego? Yeah.
As someone who never made it past World 2, can you tell us a little bit about the other world theme?
Yeah,
Sure.
so maybe I can combine these 2 questions into one. So the first world's the port, and the second is the oil rig. After that, you have to go underground, so you're pulled down into the caves. Then you end up chasing someone to the desert. And finally, you go to the center of the earth. And each world is adding new stuff. So this world 2, you've probably noticed, it's like all about the button-related traps, right? We have like the walls that pop up and down. There's a couple other, there's like button spikes and stuff.
Thematically appropriate.
Then world 3 is all about the object we never renamed, which is known as the torch, which is actually like a ball of electricity. It's like a battery basically, and you have
Beacons
beacons
that
you can charge with it, and then you also can like get charge from those. And so that's like a sort of like another level of lock and key where you might have multiple. You might have to light 3 beacons to lower one wall. Then the 4th world is like spinning stuff. I guess is the theme of the obstacles.
Yeah, the saw blades that they spin based on where you press.
Yeah, and there's also arrow tiles that instead of pointing where you point the arrows, they just rotate 90 degrees when you point an arrow. So that's the spinning things level, I guess. And then the last world has teleporters. Just teleporters? Oh,
Yeah.
2 kinds of teleporters.
Is this
It's
anything?
fun.
This doesn't seem like anything.
I was getting more briefs to add new sounds based on the new mechanics, and it was always cool to sort of have to think about what sound a teleporter would make, or a battery powering up and stuff. And that came later, but I was like, oh, this is cool. There's definitely more ideation happening even further in development.
Do you
The
have
first-
a favorite sound effect?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes. I think my favorite sound effect
Oh, I have
of all of I think the one that I like the most is, and I like it because it had to have an emotional power to it. Okay, so it's the one where the robot falls in the ocean or whatever. So it's like you had to do a few things there. You had to show that the robot was braking. I had to show that they were landing in water, so there's a splash. But it also had to not sound frustrating. Again, you didn't want it to sound harsh or like punishing, or like you didn't want to be afraid to have it. You didn't want it to sound startling. Sometimes like death sounds can be hard. Yeah, like oh, that doesn't. It's not pleasing to the ear when you fail that way. So I wanted it to be both a little comical, slapsticky, not frustrating, but then it communicates all these things. It's textural. You feel wet when you hear it. I don't know. It's like so much went into just that sound, and I know that a lot of people would hear it, and they'd hear it for reasons
giving
that
a little
aren't flattering
demo
to
reel
them.
Hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah, so I had to make sure that was the sound that I wanted to get really, really just so. So I'm happy with that sound. I'm also happy with the sound of the boss, like appearing. I think it was like a really cool challenge. And I think a lot of the power up, like the electronic-y sounds, like the more interactive, like interacting with the world sounds were cool, because it just gave more variety to the gameplay, which is reinforced by new interesting sounds. So
Yeah, I like that some of them, like the beacons and actually especially like the buzzsaws in World 4 kind of add a different ambience. So like suddenly there's just an object there's like a saw that's always spinning and has this buzz noise that changes the way the music sounds and creates like its own soundscape.
Right. Yeah, those are tough. Like just the ambient sounds and sounds that you have to like that are going to repeat, like crossing a bridge or flipping a switch. If there's like a lot of switches in a row, you don't want it to just sound like a jackhammer of the same sound all the time. So one of the things I asked Wyatt to do is just say, when this sound plays, randomize the pitch just a little bit between you have this narrow band of randomization so that it doesn't sound like you're just playing the same sound all the time. It's a subtle thing,
awesome.
but
Yeah.
I don't know, it just keeps the sounds from being repetitive.
I just added that pitch shifting to the game of mine today, actually. It's so helpful.
Yeah, no, it's cool because you don't have to make more sound assets, or you can do a lot more with less sound, and you're just taking what you've got and can like randomize it slightly. It's economical use of a few assets.
My favorite sound effect is the working title for the object is the ice wall. It's basically this light bulb that drills down. Do you remember that, Greg?
Oh
I
yeah, that was
do.
great.
Yeah, when you discharge it and it drills down,
Yeah.
it's very satisfying.
Elemental sounds were tough because like getting like the sound of ice or the sound of flames, or like when you do that, it can. The tricky thing about that, and what I've learned about like in Foley work, is that the sound you think it's gonna be doesn't really sound like that in real life. Like usually to achieve elemental sounds, you have to you have to do some creative Foley work to sort of make it sound more over the top. Like that's kind of the acting approach. Like for fire, the classic thing is to take sticks. Like if you want to hear a crackling fireplace, you actually take certain sticks and you rub them together. You don't actually stick a mic by a fire. It's too subtle. So you need to play it up. So that's the sort of Foley work you need to do with elemental stuff. So I don't exactly remember what my approach was in the offhand, but it required that degree of like, I gotta really play this up to make it sound like ice or fire or like electric zapping. Like you can't be subtle.
Video game sound design is so cool.
Yeah, so Greg, can you talk about, are you using a lot of live Foley for your sound effects?
Sometimes I record it, or I get it off of just random sites where I know that people have collections of stuff, and then I just take it and I layer it. I do a lot of layering of sound. Like I'll get my sources from all over the place, including my iPhone, if I can get a clean version, or I'll do like I have a nice mic at my spot, and then I'll take this huge wall of different options, and from there I'll basically layer stuff, and I'll have to kind of shape the frequency, and it just becomes this like, I want to create, like I got the idea from the guy that apparently made the Dorito crunch sound. Whoever made the Dorito, like I don't know, it was like 10 years ago, this guy made like the patented sound when you crunch into a Dorito that you'll hear on every commercial, and he like,
what a wild thing to trademark.
And he bought his house off of the sound of crunching a Dorito that he made. I'm not kidding. And so I'm like, so they're like, yeah, someone was interviewing him on a TV show, and he was like, oh yeah, you want to know how I actually did it? I just crunched a Dorito 75 times, and I just layered that, and I just slightly tweaked it, and so what you're hearing is 75 simultaneous crunches of a Dorito, along with the sound of somebody tearing Velcro, along with the sound of like a jackhand or like a door opening. So I'm like, what the hell? This is just like one Dorito crunch, and he did all this. But honestly, it doesn't, like, you don't hear that when somebody in real life crunches a Dorito. It's like the divine Dorito crunch.
Yeah, it's
and
the juiciest form of a Dorito crunch.
It's like this ultimate. So that's my headspace when I'm working on sound design. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta just. This is gonna be, if you're gonna splash into the ocean, it's gonna be like 10 cannonballs, at least one like, just like random rock skip, and some other odd thing. I like to add like an odd element just to keep it a little, off balance. Like, ooh, I think I hear that. But yeah, oftentimes it's just a lot of layering and then cleaning and condensing, and then editing.
Greg's contract actually specified that we had to provide a lot of Doritos.
I was definitely not powered by too many Doritos, but there were other snacks. Barbara's cheese puffs, the jalapeno flavor, was definitely a culinary influence for me.
We ate a lot of chocolate working on this thing too.
Yes, and we have a thing we have a chocolate kind of connoisseurship happening. There's a chocolate place in Red Hook called Rocca that I'm a big fan of. I actually have a subscription to their like monthly experimental chocolates that they send out. It's like chocolate of the month.
Wait,
like
that sounds awesome.
It's as awesome as it sounds. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
That's great.
I know about this, yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat. I'll put a link.
Please do, yeah.
And I'm like obsessed with dark chocolate, so Greg was always like showing up with just like delicious treats for us to try.
Yeah, I'd be in the home studio working on these sounds, and then I was also like munching on serious chocolate. That definitely got me. Ooh, a $sign. I like this. The capitalist level.
Yeah, I forget what they called this. Something about money.
Black gold or something, right?
Yeah, black gold.
So yeah, I'm gonna put this in the now streaming channel. This is the Raka first nib subscription. Feel free to copy that in the Twitch chat.
Yeah,
but
Mark, if you could.
Yes.
my palate got so expanded after like some time working on this game while having like all these chocolates. It was great.
Oop.
I'm also curious, I've never seen this level. Do the birds have any functionality?
No, they just get scared and fly away. That's it.
Aw.
We lose
When
Wyatt,
we,
by the way.
I apologize.
No worries.
Yeah, when we were doing the first level, the port, I just like we were just trying to find ways to make it feel less static, because like the background just ends up being this like block of color otherwise, right? So we were adding all these little decoration elements. And I like bird watching. I'd also like recently been to Spain, so it's just like what like different birds can I add to every level?
There was bird for sound. There was birds, and wasn't there like the oil bubbles? Was that in the brief? Or
Yeah, the oils bubble.
Yeah.
The bubbles sound, I guess is what I meant to say.
Oh, hey, Matt, we lost Wyatt on the stream, so next time you lose.
Gotcha,
He
rearrange. Yeah.
Popped out of the chat.
Oh, no, but you're gonna make this level. Oh!
Alright, one sec.
Birds. I think we started adding like a lot of birds to each world.
Mm.
There's like a bird in the first world, bird in the second world, bats in the third world,
Fourth world has no
And-
birds, right?
and yeah, none in the fourth, but there are fire bats on the
Very
fifth world.
cool.
Yeah, in the
Yes.
center of here.
That's right.
I never answered your earlier question. I think the port is probably still my favorite world, but I really like the vibe of the fifth world, and that's my favorite song actually.
Is it?
I just like the like super threatening.
Yeah, I wanted to make it more threatening, and actually like make it feel menacing, and it was the energy was moving towards the showdown. So that was where I was like, all right, we're at this.
Visually, I like the fifth world the best, and for the music, I like the third world a lot.
I think of
Yeah.
visually, I do really like this world. I like it feels so like the oil is like I don't know with the bubbles. The theme right now is oozing right now, and I do appreciate it. Musically, I guess the third world was the most wacky.
I gotta stop trying to do so much at once.
There was like lap steel guitar in it. So, yeah, like I always like lap steel. So.
Yeah, I guess I called it the caves. It's really the mines, right? So there's like
Coal
mine parts and some twangy guitar. It's good.
Yeah, it was like twangy guitar and
Yeah.
like kind of like Gold Rush vibes.
That's right, a little western kind of vibe.
I think I was watching like Deadwood or something, and I was like, yeah, I'm feeling that western vibes, frontier.
Were we watching Deadwood at the same time? I feel like I was also watching Deadwood.
Were you watching it last year?
Good show.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right before the movie came out, I rewatched the whole thing.
We didn't watch the film yet, but it's one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I'll get around to it.
It's worth watching, but it's
Yeah, I'm
very.
ready. Well, I'm almost ready.
Okay, this feels
Nice.
feeling good. There we go.
I think you got this.
I just kept
Money,
getting
money.
them. I kept getting them separated, and then forgetting that the map was no longer safe to be separated.
Well done.
Oh, I like this level.
Okay. Also, I know we're starting to run a little bit low on time. As always, I would like to encourage all three of you to plug literally anything you want to here.
Yeah, sure.
If you've got projects you want to talk about. Also, I know something we haven't actually had a chance to talk about much, like this sort of show started as a, hey, let's like make a space to talk about indie game development in New York City. I can't think about this while talking. I would love to hear just a little bit about. I believe we're all three of you Game Center affiliated. I know Diego is explicitly and currently.
Yeah, so I was in the first MFA class at the Game Center in 2012, graduated in 2014, and now I teach there, yeah.
Yeah, I was a third year MFA grad.
Third year.
No, as in the third program.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the third run of the program. So I was 2 years at Diego's junior.
I was a member of the summer incubator program. I wandered in off the streets of this Brooklyn, and was making games, and it was the first year they let non-students into the program, and since then I've just kind of been in the mix. So I do teach a course there now, and I got a new game that came out in May of this year, and new one in the works.
Exciting.
Yeah.
What's the game that just came out called? I mean, I know what it's called.
Yeah, sorry, I'm bearing the lead here, sorry. It's called Tales from Off-Peak City, Volume 1. I'll put a link right under my link for the chocolate in the now streaming channel. So yeah, this is a part of my my series of first-person adventure games, and this game's about making pizza and exploring a neighborhood street corner and uncovering mysteries and getting into some hijinks. So it's a journey, go on it. And I was actually working on the music for this simultaneously while I was working on that. So like I was in the same headspace for both games, and it's a lot of, I don't want to say the same musical style, but definitely similar vibe, I guess you could say. Similar sensibility.
You're absolutely right, Wyatt. That's a really cool level.
Cool level.
Once I figured out what I was supposed to do, it was like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's more puzzly than dexterous, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Let me guess.
Is this a new obstacle?
I'm gonna guess it flips. Yep. Okay. Cool. Let's make the
love that you
indirect
guessed
control even less direct.
Whoa.
Oh wait, no, that's a trap. Never mind.
Oh.
Those had a nice sound too, if I remember. I can't hear it now, but the flip arrow I feel like is a pretty satisfying.
I like the flip arrow, and even like the mechanical sounds. I feel like were really.
I stumbled into that solution, in case anyone's wondering how I got through it so fast. I froze up at that last turn, and it just happened to work.
Yeah.
Like
It's a tutorial level. It teaches you the arrows.
Yep.
So.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've noticed there've been. Oh, right.
Oh no!
Because that was something that was very clear. Obviously, in World 1, you have a lot of really explicit, like, here are the mechanics of the game. But it has been very clear, as I'm sort of progressing farther through World 2, that every time there's a new mechanic, there will be a level that is specially designed to make it impossible for me to not see how that mechanic works. Like, I remember this one a few levels ago. Just forces you to learn that the switch changes the spikes.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, some of that did also come out of playtesting. I think some of Wyatt's instincts that'll like, not cheapen the experience and keep it challenging and always like there's some aspect of problem solving that you have to do. But I think there were a couple times where we had to say like, there's just not space to grok what's happening here.
Yeah. Or we'll just make it such that there's a high chance of you dying like immediately when you face it, but you immediately understand what it does and why you died. Like the spike traps, the trip traps, right? It's like, most people will be like, what is this? And then if they die on it, it's like, okay, I understand what's happening.
Were there any obstacles that you had to cut but barely, like you were sorry to see them go, or did you pretty much put everything in you wanted to put in?
I think all the things that I want to put in, I did put in. I think I tried some mechanics that seemed like they have potential, but I couldn't come out with too many levels of them, which kind of means that it was kind of restrictive in what it can provide, the kind of experience it can provide.
Gotcha.
I think some things like items like explosives, you can kind of break down walls, that kind of open new pathways. What else? What else did I have? Oh, some of them were like sequences. It's like you need to walk over numbers in the correct sequence. If not, you'll die, and then it kind of unlocks stuff. So there are a few things that I did try, but I kind of decided not to put it in. Or I could have the same kind of experience with the current mechanics, so I don't really need the thing. For example, like the number sequencing thing, I already can achieve that with other mechanics kind of put together and some level design. So kind of do not want to just add mechanics just for the sake of adding mechanics.
Okay. Down, right? Oh, but only one of them. Yeah.
So Wyatt, do
nice.
you think you would want to make like another game that iterates on this concept, or are you hungry for a new genre or a new sort of puzzle challenge?
Yeah, I think split attention for me, I think this would be it for me. I don't think I'll look into something else that kind of explores this. So I'll probably be looking to work on other things.
Alright.
So the game I'm working on now, I think you should be familiar, is the game that I worked on at Incubator.
Right,
Epitaph?
Epitaph's back.
That's right. I think the artist started to work again, so we're back in development. And we were pretty close. It could be as early as late next month to release it. Could be.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, prolific moment.
Tell us a little bit about Epitaph. What kind of game is it?
No, Epitaph is a PvP game. So essentially, you control 3 characters, and you kind of battle with in a team of 3 characters, and each character has like 2 abilities. And what you're doing is you're sequencing the abilities in real time, like the active time battle system. So both players are inputting things, and then you can see a queue of all the abilities that are happening, and you're trying to calculate, oh, how do I input an ability that's best going to be advantageous, and yeah, that's the game.
I
Seems
get
to
a
also
sense.
have an element of juggling.
Yes, there's a brain multi-function brain thing going on with Epitaph, as I certainly recall too.
Yeah, it can be quite demanding, but
Why? Why did I do that?
yep. So hopefully, I think I've final build that I'm testing. So hopefully it tests well. I think next weekend is the final test build, and if all goes well, I'll probably push it out pretty soon.
Nope. Obligatory plug, since you're in the Discord now, there is a, what is it, bi-weekly playtest night, Mark?
It's once a month. It's the first Wednesday. But yeah, in the Wonderville Discord, we've been doing virtual playtest night.
Okay.
So, you want to playtest your games, pop in. Yeah, the next one's coming up in October, so not too far away. Andy Wallace runs it.
I might have something actually. How much? What's the protocol to sign up?
There's usually a message with some time slots, and the first people that respond get the slots. But then there's generally some discussion afterward, and you can playtest other games. So yeah, it's been pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff.
Nice.
3.
In there.
1, 2. No. Nope. Too late. Okay, so I have to do it after 2.
Wow.
Okay.
You were close at one point.
Was I
Diego,
can't-
what are those ominous-looking orange columns poking out of the wheel?
Oh, they're just supposed to be like barrels that somebody forgot about.
Just like the real ocean.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was at the beach once, and a barrel, like a little bucket, floated up to me, and I picked it up, and it just had a picture of a dead fish on it and said marine pollutant, like right under the title of whatever, like paint or something.
You hang out by the coast quite a bit, right, Diego? You like the first world is based on.
Yeah, so that was mostly inspired by a trip to Spain that I had taken the year before we worked on this, or I guess the year you approached me, right? Over the summer, I have family from Galicia in Spain, but then yeah, I don't know. I like the water.
Water's nice.
Yes. So talking about like difficulty and playtesting, it's like this level used to be near the end of the first world, and I think a lot of people struggled with it.
Did you change the level at any point, or is it just a matter of sequencing?
Most of it is sequencing, but not as sequenced to late in level 2. I actually changed the difficulty a little bit, and I incorporate the mechanics of the second world, because it can't be just a first world mechanics on the second world. So I added a few things to kind of make it matching mechanically to the second world. And for example, like I'll take the shield. It's more like it's a kind of like a little hint that we put in the first world. So when I moved to the second world, we just left it there. I was very comfortable with just removing it, because I would think that people are experienced that they wouldn't. Some might not appreciate a hint or do not need a hint.
It could just be something that the robot says, like who they are. They'll take the shield.
Yeah.
Expression.
Picking up the shield is my second favorite sound effect.
Oh, right on.
Hold on a sec. Yeah, let me see if I can. Well, okay, obviously. Oh yeah. Okay, I screwed it up. The wrong bot's got the shield. That's Handle. Handle wants the shield. Okay.
Handle wants the shield.
Handle wants the shield. Yes, that's right.
Those are good names.
We should have made it. I'll handle the shield.
We got that, man. We had a list of like 40 potential titles for this game, and a couple ended up being like ship and handle in Damage in Transit or whatever else.
That's good.
And it just
took us so long to get a name for the game.
What was the name before this? Remind me.
Port Panic.
Port Panic.
Port Panic. That was the file name that I couldn't find when I was trying to find the beta builds you sent me.
Before that, it was like the placeholder, like prototype name was like Twin Sneaks or something like that.
Twin Sneaks was cool, but didn't really make a lot of sense in this context.
That's also a Metal Gear Solid game.
There's a Ship It was a...
yeah,
Just ship it.
Ship It. Lickety Split.
FedEx the game.
Out for Delivery, but then there were like another game called Out for Delivery came out.
All right, I know someone had a hard out at 8:30, and that's where we're at. So,
Yeah.
though I am
Okay.
going to try to complete this level, I do want to say thanks everyone for joining. This has been great.
Yeah, thanks so much for having
Good
us.
stuff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Keeping it, and it's great that Wonderville maintains, and I look forward to the continued community action for it, because it's a great spot, and one day we'll be back in the space, raising our glasses and playing this in the real.
Yeah,
One day, sooner than later, hopefully.
Sooner than later.
the arcade opens on the 30th.
There it is.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
There's,
nice.
there.
Did you get the
We
switchboard?
do this.
Did you build your switchboard of little lights showing you which arcades are safe to use?
We're gonna use magnets, I think.
All right, that works. That's probably easier.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have like a capacity cap or something, or are you just...
Yeah, we're gonna be 20 people max in the arcade at a time.
Okay.
And everyone must be seated. So all the arcades are tables.
Amazing.
So yeah, you'll come in, you'll be greeted, and you'll be seated at a table. And then you can request to move to another table if you want to play a different game.
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting winter.
Yeah, boy.
The sedentary arcade experience, the first one.
It's like speed dating arcade machine. Is that what it is?
Yes.
That's not a bad.
Well,
you
here
could
we
run
go.
with that brand.
Speed, honestly, if you want to facilitate effective speed dating, have them play this co-op at each table.
You heard it here
They
first.
get their own
Damage in
controller.
Transit speed dating coming to Wonderville this fall. If you want to pick up a copy of this game for yourself, you can check out the URL on the screen, crofty.com/damagedintransit. It's also available on the Switch store. Projected Crispy, I meant to ask you why. What's it like getting something shipped to Switch? But we're out of time, so I'll ask you that next time you're in the show.
All right.
It's great.
Continued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And thanks Twitch for tuning in for Remote Control. We'll have another one of these in 2 weeks where we'll be sitting down with the developers for Starcrossed.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Right on.
All
All
right.
right. See you later,
All right.
Twitch.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.